Stop scrolling. I mean it. Put the phone down for a second. Or better yet, hold it closer. Because what's about to come through this screen in the next few minutes was not an accident. You did not land on this video because the algorithm is clever. You landed here because something in your spirit has been restless for weeks, maybe months. And heaven decided tonight was the night. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange weight on your chest when the house goes quiet. That ache in the middle of a crowded room. The sense that you are surrounded by people and still completely alone in what you carry. You wake up at 3 inches the morning, and you don't know why. You cry in your car before you walk into work and you cannot explain it to anyone. You keep praying the same prayer, and it feels like God is answering with silence that is somehow louder than words. Listen to me carefully. That silence is not abandonment. That silence is preparation. And tonight, I am going to tell you exactly what the Spirit has been whispering to you behind that silence. Because you are not losing your mind. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are one of the 144,000. And these are the final instructions. My name is George, and if you are still on this screen right now, it means you already know. Somewhere in you, you already know. So I am not going to waste your time with soft openings. I am going to tell you the truth, the way a brother tells a brother when there is no more time for games. The book of Revelation talks about a number, 144,000, sealed on the forehead, set apart, walking the earth when most people are sleeping spiritually. For a long time, the church has debated what that number means. Literal, symbolic, tribal. I am not here to argue theology with anyone tonight. I am here to tell you that, whatever that number is, it describes a kind of person, a kind of soul, a kind of calling. And that calling has been pressing on you since you were a child. You remember, don't you? You remember being 4 years old and feeling things you did not have words for. You remember standing in the hallway of your house at night and feeling like someone was with you, someone good, someone bright, and you were never afraid. You remember the first time you heard about Jesus and something inside you lit up like a Christmas tree and you didn't know why the other kids were bored. You remember asking questions in Sunday school that made the teacher uncomfortable. You remember dreams, vivid dreams. Dreams with colors that don't exist in this world. Dreams where you were running or flying or standing in front of a door that was always about to open. That was not your imagination. That was the seal being placed. Here is the first instruction. And I want you to hear this with your whole heart. Stop apologizing for being different. You have spent your entire life trying to turn yourself down, trying to be less intense, less deep, less emotional, less prophetic. You have watered down your words so you don't make people uncomfortable at family dinners. You have hidden your dreams because your own spouse looks at you like you are a stranger when you share them. You have pretended to be interested in things that bore your soul because you wanted to belong. And every single time you did that, a little piece of the seal dimmed. I am not telling you to be rude. I am not telling you to be arrogant. I am telling you that the part of you that you have been apologizing for is the exact part heaven is about to use. The sensitivity you thought was a weakness is a receiver. The intensity you thought was too much is a fire that was lit on purpose. The depth you thought made you weird is the well from which others are about to drink. There is a woman watching this right now who has been told her whole life she is too much, too emotional, too spiritual, too intense, too passionate. I want you to hear me say this, sister. You are not too much. You were made for a moment that required exactly this much, and that moment is now. The second instruction. And this one is going to sting a little, because truth usually does before it heals. You have to separate yourself from the voices that are trying to flatten you. I am not talking about cutting off family. I am not talking about being cruel. I am talking about the spiritual diet you are consuming every single day. The conversations you keep having with people who laugh at the things God is birthing in you. The friendships that keep you small, because your smallness is comfortable for them. The relationships where every time you try to rise, someone hands you a reason to sit back down. You cannot be one of the 144,000 and still be controlled by the opinion of people who do not even know your spirit. You cannot carry end-time fire and keep trying to warm yourself at the fire of people who have never burned for anything in their lives. There is a reason Elijah went to the mountain alone. There is a reason Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before the burning bush. There is a reason Jesus himself pulled away from the crowds to pray in lonely places before every major moment of his ministry. Your isolation is not punishment. Your isolation is tuition. Heaven is paying for something in you that cannot be built in a crowd. I know what some of you are feeling right now. You are thinking, "But George, I am so tired of being alone. I am so tired of carrying this by myself. I am so tired of being the one who prays when nobody else will pray. I am so tired of being the strong one in my family when nobody is strong for me." I hear you. God hears you. And I need you to understand that what feels like loneliness to you is actually the sound of heaven clearing out a room so it can speak to you without interruption. The third instruction is about your hands. Look at your hands right now. Really look at them. Those are not ordinary hands. Those hands were formed for assignment. There is a reason certain people feel calmer when you touch them. There is a reason your children fall asleep faster when you lay a hand on their forehead. There is a reason the plants you take care of grow when other people's plants die. There is a reason you can walk into a room and the energy shifts without you saying a word. You are not imagining that. The anointing is real, and it moves through skin, and it has been flowing through yours since before you knew what to call it. But here is where most people miss it. The anointing on your hands is tied to the humility of your heart. The moment you start using those hands to control people instead of to bless them, the flow slows down. The moment you start performing instead of serving, heaven steps back. You were not given these hands to build an empire for yourself. You were given these hands to be a bridge for others to cross over into their own encounter with God. So tonight, I want you to do something. When this video is done, I want you to lay your hands on your own chest, right over your heart. And I want you to whisper to your own spirit, "You are seen, you are sealed, you are sent." Because most of you have spent your whole life pouring out, and nobody has ever laid hands on you. And it is time for that to change, and it is going to start with you. The fourth instruction, and this is where we get into the marrow. You must stop running from the weight of what God placed inside you. There is something you keep almost saying out loud, and then pulling back from. Some part of your calling that scares you because it is so specific and so clear that you cannot pretend anymore. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's a ministry. Maybe it's a conversation with somebody in your family that has been waiting to happen for 10 years. Maybe it's leaving a job that pays well but is slowly killing your spirit. Maybe it's forgiving a person you swore you would never forgive. Maybe it's walking away from a relationship that everyone around you celebrates, but God has been quietly telling you is not your portion. You know what yours is. You are hearing it as I speak. The 144,000 are not people who figured everything out. The 144,000 are people who finally said yes to the thing they had been avoiding. And the moment they said yes, heaven released resources that had been held in reserve since the day they were born. Angels that had been standing at attention for decades were finally given permission to move. Doors that had been sealed with dust started creaking open. Money that had been held up in traffic started arriving at the address on the envelope. People you needed to meet started showing up in strange places like grocery stores and airports and waiting rooms. But none of that moves until you say yes. Think about that for a second. There is a version of your life that is already fully prepared in the storehouse of heaven. Every room is furnished, every table is set, every seat is reserved. And the only thing standing between you and that life is one yes that you keep postponing because you are waiting to feel ready. Can I tell you something? You are never going to feel ready. Readiness is a feeling that arrives after obedience, not before. Noah built a boat on dry land. Abraham left his country without a forwarding address. Mary said yes to a pregnancy she could not explain to her fiancé. Peter stepped out of a boat onto water that had no business holding him, None of them felt ready. All of them are in the book. That is how this works for the chosen. The fifth instruction is about your mouth. Watch what you say about yourself. I know we talk about this a lot in Christian circles, and some people roll their eyes at it. But I am not talking about shallow, positive thinking. I am talking about the terrifying truth that your tongue carries creative authority because you were made in the image of a God who spoke the universe into being. When you say, "I am tired," something in you grows tired. When you say, "I am broken," cracks start showing up where there was solid ground. When you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," a little door in the heavenlies closes and things stop working out for you. But the opposite is just as true. When you say, "I am sealed," something responds. When you say, "I am chosen," the atmosphere around you changes shape. When you say, "The Lord is with me and I am not afraid," fear has to find another seat because its chair just got pulled out from under it. The 144,000 are people who learned to govern their mouths. Not because they were fake, not because they were in denial about pain, but because they understood that in the last days, words are weapons, and the enemy has been using their own tongues against them for years. So they took their mouths back. They started speaking over their homes. They started speaking over their children. They started speaking over their finances. They started speaking over their bodies, and things started to shift. There are messages that pass through your eyes, and there are messages that pass through your spirit. If something in you recognized itself while watching, don't dismiss it. That is the Spirit confirming what was already written. The secret protocol carries 7 keys that unveil what heaven deposited in you before you ever arrived. Things no one around you has ever been able to name. It comes with the full audiobook for your moments of prayer, silence, and encounter with God. And you also receive the Awakening Map, the guide that illuminates the 5 seasons of spiritual awakening, revealing with precision exactly where you are and what comes next. The link is pinned in the first comment, but only for a limited time. Don't let this moment pass without a response. Now, come back with me, because we are not done. The 6th instruction is about your eyes. What you keep looking at is shaping who you are becoming. And I do not just mean the obvious things, I mean the subtle things. The accounts you scroll through for hours that leave you feeling empty and do not know why. The news cycles that have you more afraid than prayerful. The comparison game you play every time you open an app and see somebody who looks like they have a life you should have. The 144,000 guard their eyes like watchmen guard a city gate. Not because they are legalistic, because they understand that the eye is a door, and every door left open in a house is an invitation to whatever is passing by in the street. You cannot feed your eyes fear all day and then expect faith to rise up in you at night when you try to pray. The soil you planted all day is the crop you harvest in the evening. Start noticing what you look at. Start asking, is this adding oil to my lamp, or is this draining it? Some of the things you think are harmless entertainment have been very quietly sucking the anointing out of your home for years, and you thought you were just tired. You thought you were just in a dry season. But you were not dry. You were leaking. And the leak was in a place you didn't think to check. The 7th instruction might be the hardest one. You have to forgive the people who did not see you. I am not talking about trusting them again. I am not talking about pretending the wound was not real. I am talking about releasing the chain that ties your spirit to people who were never going to understand what you carry. Parents who were too broken to recognize the gift in their own child. Teachers who labeled you when they should have nurtured you. Church folks who judged the very sensitivity that was going to be used by heaven in your generation. Exes who wasted your best years and moved on like it was nothing. Friends who ghosted you the moment your life started changing in ways they couldn't follow. As long as you are holding on to what they did, you are still living in the house they built for you. And that house was never big enough for the person you are becoming. Forgiveness is not a gift you give them. Forgiveness is the eviction notice you serve to the tenants who have been squatting in your soul rent-free for years. You can love somebody and still tell them, you cannot live in my head anymore. You can release somebody and still pray for them from a distance. You can forgive without reconciling. All heaven is asking you to do is take down the altar you built to your own pain. So there is room in your heart for the new thing. And the new thing is coming. I want to tell you something about the 144,000 that most people miss. They do not all know each other. They do not all live in the same country. They do not all speak the same language. But when they meet, there is a recognition in the spirit that cannot be faked. You have had those moments. You have met somebody once in a grocery store line, in a waiting room, at a gas station, and something in both of you jumped. You made eye contact, and for a half second you knew. You did not exchange numbers. You did not become friends. But you knew. That person was family in the spirit. Heaven is about to start arranging those meetings on purpose. The 8th instruction. Pay attention to your body. You are not just a soul that happens to be wearing a body. You are a temple. And the Spirit of the living God is teaching you to hear Him through your body long before He teaches you to hear Him through your ears. That tension in your shoulders when you walk into certain rooms is discernment. That flutter in your stomach when a certain name comes up is a warning. That deep exhale you let out when you finally hang up on a toxic conversation is confirmation. Your body has been trying to talk to you for years, and you have been drowning it out with coffee and doom scrolling and noise. Slow down, not forever, but often enough that you can hear what is happening under the surface. The 144,000 are people who learned to listen to the whispers, so they never had to hear the screams. Heaven would much rather speak to you in a quiet bedroom in the morning than in a hospital bed in an emergency. But you have to make the quiet. The 9th instruction is about your money. And I know some of you tensed up when I said that word. Relax. I am not about to do what you are afraid I am about to do. I am telling you that your relationship with money is a spiritual mirror. How you steward it, how you speak about it, how you give it, how you receive it. All of it is saying something about how you see yourself and how you see God. The chosen are not all rich. Some of them are wealthy. Some of them are working class. Some of them are in seasons of stretching, where they can barely pay the light bill. But all of them have one thing in common. They refuse to be stingy. Not with money specifically, with everything, with their time, with their words, with their forgiveness, with their hope, with their table. Stinginess is a spiritual posture long before it is a financial one, and generosity is the climate heaven sends rain into. So wherever you are financially tonight, I want you to do one small thing this week, one act of generosity you can actually afford. Buy somebody a coffee. Leave a bigger tip than usual. Give somebody the compliment you have been swallowing. Release something, because the 144,000 are carriers, not containers. And what does not flow through you starts to rot in you. The 10th instruction is the one heaven has been waiting for you to hear. You are not late. I know you think you are. I know you look at your age and your bank account and your relationship status and the people you went to high school with who seem to have it all figured out. And you feel like the clock ran out on you, somewhere between 27 and 42. You feel like the version of you that was supposed to happen already missed its exit. You feel like God forgot your address and sent your blessing to somebody else's house. Hear me. There is no exit you missed. There is no blessing with somebody else's name on it. There is no expiration date on the thing that was sealed inside you before the foundation of the world. Moses was 80 when the burning bush showed up. Abraham was 75 when the call came. Sarah was 90 when the promise crossed the threshold of her body. Anna was in her 80s when she saw the baby Jesus in the temple. Heaven's economy does not run on your calendar. Every year you thought was wasted was actually preparation. Every relationship that ended was removing weight you could not carry into this season. Every door that closed was heaven protecting you from a room you were not anointed to be in. Every tear you cried in the dark was watering a seed that was going to break ground at exactly this moment, not a day sooner, not a day later. You are not late. You are on time. The only way you miss this is if you quit. And I do not think you are going to quit. Because if you were going to quit, you would have quit already. You would not still be looking for signs. You would not still be watching videos like this at 2 inches the morning. You would not still be praying prayers with no visible evidence that God is listening. The fact that you are still reaching is the proof that something in you already knows the finish line is closer than the starting line. So let me tell you what to do tonight. Before you go to sleep, find a quiet place. Your car if you have to. Your closet if the house is full. The bathroom floor, if that is the only room with a lock. Get alone and say out loud, not in your head but with your actual mouth, "Father, I accept what you put in me. I stop running. I stop apologizing. I stop dimming. I stop negotiating with fear. Here I am. Send me. Use me. Seal me again." Finish what you started. Then do not ask for anything else. Just sit in the silence and let heaven answer. Because when the chosen finally stop striving and start surrendering, the room changes, the atmosphere shifts, and the seal that was always there gets a fresh coat of fire. You are not who you used to be. You are not who they said you were. You are not the label they gave you in the 5th grade, or the name your ex called you the night they left, or the word your own father whispered over you when he thought you could not hear. You are sealed. You are sent. You are part of the final generation of the chosen, and heaven has been waiting on you, not the other way around. Now I want you to do one more thing for me, and this is where your assignment begins. In the comments below, I want you to tell me which of these 10 instructions hit you the hardest. Not all of them, just one. The one that felt like it was reading your mail. The one that made you stop and sit back from the screen. Was it separating from the voices that flatten you? Was it the silence your body has been screaming in? Was it the forgiveness you have been avoiding? Was it the yes you keep postponing? Was it the words you have been speaking over yourself? Tell me. Write it. Put the number. Put the word. Put whatever you feel. Because when you name it, you start to move on it. And I am going to be in those comments reading, praying over names, and agreeing with you in the spirit for what comes next. This is not the end of a video. This is the beginning of a season. Stay sealed, stay surrendered, stay awake. The 144,000 are rising, and you are one of them.